I've found myself daydreaming about the ideal life that I want to live. Waking up, what routines I would do, the way I would move through the world, the version of myself I would get to be because the world I would be living in would be different than the life I'm living in right now. And I'm sure you've done this too, where you have had this dream version of your life where you get to be a different version because the external reality that you would be living in is different than the life that you're leading now. And this is a big tenet of manifestation. Write down the dream life. Imagine yourself living it. But then what often happens is we look at the current life we're in and we say, I can't be that version of myself here because my life is so restricting. I can't be that self expressed version of me. I can't be that ease filled, gentle, vibrant, whatever it is. You feel that you need to change the external reality for you to be that self first. What Monty in today's transmission shares, that is not how it works. And that we have to work internally on changing our reality first, so that way it can change the external reality. My name is Kim Charlson. I'm a voice channeler, and I work with a spirit being named Monty, who provides us with energetic insights into how we can live our most aligned, most vibrant, best life that we could possibly desire. So let's get into today's transmission and hear from Monty about what they have to share to help guide us towards that life we have been dreaming about. During this time, as we have discussed previously, there is a certain urge to change your external reality. And as we mentioned in our previous transmission, if you change your external reality, saying, this is out of alignment with me and the version of myself I wish to be, I cannot be that version in the way that my life is now, I must change that external reality, you will find that yet again you are showing up to that changed external reality in the same way that you showed up to the previous external reality. And that new reality will constrict itself back into the mold of your previous experience. For example, say you wish to move from a career that is very conventional, that weighs down on your soul, that makes you feel as though you are restricted, you cannot express yourself. And you decide, I will move from that career into one where I have to be more risky. I have to be aligned with who I am in that expression. And there will be a surge of energy at the beginning. A new endeavor, a new intention will allow this energy to flow through you. And then very quickly, you will find that you fall back into those same habits. The restriction will start to come in through different forms. You will find that you are just as restricted as you were in the previous career. Now, we are not saying that this will happen in every case, because it is dependent on your internal energy, your internal way of being for it to be successful in the way that you want to create that aligned life. So, for example, if you are in a career that is feeling quite restricting to you in this moment, and you say, well, even though I feel I cannot, I am going to allow myself to express my energy in the ways that I feel I can right now. That although I feel restricted, I am going to allow myself to remove those restrictions. That within the restrictions, I will be creative and allow for that self-expression of my energy in the ways that are possible. And this will allow you to begin to change that state of being on a greater level. That as you begin to practice that new state of being of self-expression rather than self-restriction, the expression will grow. And yes, there are external conditions that may again try to restrict it. And it is up to you to say, no, I will continue to express rather than to restrict myself. That is changing that state of being. And instead of responding to the external reality, you are allowing yourself to live from the inside out. So then when the time comes that you feel, I have practiced this enough, I know how to express myself, when you move into a career that requires and is built on that self-expression, you are already trained. Your energy is ready. You know how to behave. You know how to be. And so when you move into that new career, the paths open, the opportunities are there, the restriction is removed because you yourself are not restricting your self-expression of your energy. Very different outcomes, despite that the external reality is changing in the same way. And it is important for you to understand that this is the basis of every interaction that you have, not just when you are making big life changes, but in every way that you are allowing the external reality to dictate who you are being. You are restraining yourself. You are closing your energy off. You are shutting yourself away. And every time you allow the external reality to dictate your state of being, you are replicating that external reality within yourself. You are saying the external reality is restricted, I will be restricted. The external reality is out of alignment, I will also be out of alignment. But when you instead change that perspective and say, I am in alignment with myself regardless of what is happening externally, that then allows for external reality to change. It allows for opportunities to flow, for new energies to arrive, for new meetings, coordinations, synchronizations. Because when you are in alignment with yourself, the external reality begins to line up. It does require a certain amount of faith in your own ability to stay in your self-expression, to stay in your ability to express who you are, regardless of the external reality, regardless of the restriction that you believe that you are in, because it requires that you trust that as you are in alignment, external reality will line up in your favor as well. And there is a certain amount of delay when that happens, as energy within physical creation does not move as fast as the energy you have within yourself. Think about this, for example. You can go very, very quickly from being happy to angry, changing your energetic makeup in an instant. And yet the reality has not changed. You can do that right now. You can say, I am going to be happy. And then you can imagine something that makes you mad and bring up the energy of being mad. And suddenly you are mad. Just like that. You can change your own energy immediately. But as you well know, physical circumstances do not change with such rapidity and such ease. So, believing that you yourself are in control of your energy and therefore that ease will then cascade out of you into the external reality is also required for you to move forward in this way of sitting within your own energy and trusting that that is enough. Knowing that even though the external reality may not be as aligned as you would like it, that you can maintain your alignment. You can maintain that perspective, that awareness, that state of being, and not allow the external reality to restrict you, because when you lose that faith in your own energy, you are allowing the external reality yet again to dictate your internal being. You're saying, I am aligned, I am aligned, I am aligned, I look externally, this is not aligned, I feel terrible, everything is awful. You are unaligned yet again. It is falling into that same pattern. You must allow yourself to maintain that alignment on a consistent basis. Now, this does not mean that you do not allow yourself to feel feelings like frustration, anger, dissatisfaction. No, that is not the truth. These are tools for you to realize where you are allowing external reality to dictate your internal state, where you can resume power over yourself. So it is not saying, I will not feel frustrated. I will not feel angry. I will not feel disappointed. No, it is saying, I feel disappointed. And I realize that it is okay for me to feel disappointed in this moment, but that I am going to return to myself. I'm going to return to the state of being I would like to be. I am going to allow myself to fully experience this emotion, this energy that I feel I need to, because you are allowing that energy to dictate your internal state. And so you are saying to yourself, I need to feel this. Feel it and then let it go. Let it not become part of who you are. Let it be a moment in time that you do not stick in. Allow yourself to say, I am disappointed it did not work out. I am sad and upset, and I'm going to feel those emotions. And then once I am done feeling those emotions, I am going to envision myself in my more aligned state of being. Without regard to the external circumstances changing, I am just going to allow myself to come back into that alignment with who I am. And so we will give you this tool. It's very easy and something that we have discussed many times. When you are done feeling those feelings, asking your body, are you done, body, feeling these energies? Are you ready to let them go? If your body says no, you allow it more time, more space to process those emotions, as the body is the vessel for the energy that you are experiencing. When the body has decided, yes, I am done, I am ready to move on, you will feel that shift within yourself. And when that occurs, take a deep breath and reconnect with the soul, the part of you that is in alignment all the time, the part of you that is the best, brightest, most vibrant version of yourself. And allow yourself to connect with your soul just through your intention. And this will automatically change your energy, because you will allow that energy to spread throughout you just by connecting with it. That as you go from feeling disappointment, you have experienced that energy has departed, then you are in the void. And all you are doing then is bringing in the energy of your soul into your vessel more fully and completely for you to experience it. That moment of the void is the same moment that you learn to love, because it is the moment when everything is coming into alignment. The moment of emptiness is where the opportunity is to come into alignment. And so you must learn to love the emotions that you do not like, because once they are done being experienced, you come into the void, and the void is where you are coming into alignment, where all of the magic and beauty and opportunity begins to arrive. But you must allow yourself into that void and trust that it is the right place for you to be at that time. This will take a certain amount of practice. This will take a certain amount of time, that you will get it wrong, and that is okay. But the goal is always to return to yourself, to return to your own energy. So if sometimes the energies of undesirable energies, the ones that you do not want to experience, are so overwhelming you cannot seem to let them go, allow yourself a moment to bypass them, to say, yes, I will just return to my soul. I need a break. I will go back to resume to processing those energies until I can really result back into the void and say, that is enough. It is okay. I am going to take a break. You do not have to subject yourself to too much too fast all at once. That causes trauma that is unhelpful, because trauma is the holding on of energy. So we send you great love, support, and as much ease as you can muster within this void. That is all. I have heard this same advice many different times in many different formats when I've done one-on-one channeling sessions with Monty and different clients. Someone will come, they'll say, I really want this thing in my life. I want to change careers. I want a different relationship. I want to move. Big life changes that they're considering, and they don't see how they can do it. They think, well, I have to just toss away everything, walk away from the life I have, basically light it on fire and move and completely start over. There is this big inclination, especially when we get to midlife. I've noticed that for many of us, we come to this realization the life we've built is so out of alignment with who we are, and we have no idea how to get to an aligned life, but we can see one. We have an idea of what it could look like, how we could behave, how we could be if the external circumstances were different. The truth is, every single time I've noticed that a client decides to make these big changes, if they haven't changed who they're being first, they just replicate those same patterns again. And that's what Monty is warning us about in today's transmission, that it is the same patterning, that when we live our certain reality internally, that reality is going to be mirrored back to us in external reality. And even if we change those external conditions, we're going to show up with that same energy. Doors will be closed. There will be more restriction. We won't get the opportunities that we want. It is so frustrating with that perspective, because you want to just sometimes just walk away from the life that you have, make big changes, move, start relationships over, get a new career. But until we stop trying to run away from what is actually needing to be changed inside of us, we will keep replicating those same patterns externally. So what Monty offers is a piece of advice. You can feel frustration and disappointment with the way that your life is going. That is totally fine. You don't have to stay high vibe all the time. But you have to get to that point of the void. And it can be for the briefest of moments. When I have been in my deepest, most frustrated, most depressed, unhappy state, there's just this moment where you just feel, oh, I can't be more depressed. I can't be more upset. And it's just a moment where your energy kind of just evens out. You're not high vibe. You're not low vibe. It's just kind of even. That's that void that Monty is talking about today. And once we enter that void, we have the opportunity to change our state of being. That when we're in that space, we are no longer really experiencing any different energy. We're just the void. And so we can intentionally instead bring in our own energy, change our state of being. And when we begin to do that on a routine basis, that will start to change the way that we're being throughout the rest of our day, not just in that moment where we're transitioning out of that void, allowing us to then change our external reality. Because when we show up to these situations that we find restrictive, when we're being that more expansive energy, reality responds in kind. The best example I can think of is when you have to call customer service. When you've had a problem that you're just so upset about, and you know you have to call someone on the phone and deal with somebody to get a different result. If you're upset and mad and you call customer service and you treat the person on the other end of the line like absolute crap, they are not going to go out of their way to help you. They are going to do the absolute bare minimum. They're going to do what is required by the policy. They're not going to help you in a way that is really going to get you the result that you want. If instead you show up as your most aligned self to that conversation, you're someone who is expansive. And yes, you can absolutely be frustrated and say, I don't like the way this situation is going, but you treat that customer service rep differently because you are being different. You will get a vastly different result from that customer service agent. A lot of times they'll go out of their way to help you. They'll do things that are outside of policy. They'll make special circumstances for you occur. The rules don't always apply when you're acting in alignment, right? Something as simple as calling customer service is one of those times that we can feel restricted. That is a concrete example we can look to. So if your life is feeling like a really bad customer service call, change who you're being. The universe will respond to your energy in kind. I hope this example helps to explain it a little bit, because it is difficult to really apply this in our day-to-day lives. If you love this episode, please share it with your friends. Please like, subscribe, send us comments, any questions that you have. And if you would like to receive more guidance from Monty on how to step into that brave version of yourself who is ready to be the most aligned version of you, you can sign up for Soul Brave, our free channeled mini course available on our website and in the links below. Thank you so much for joining us. We will see you in the next episode.